Tubers, Tibets, and of course, crazy people. In just a second, my friend Mike is going to join me here on the channel, and we're going to approach a topic that I've never approached before on the Little Dog channel, and that is single moms. Should you or should you not get involved with someone that's a single mother? Now, Mike has an opinion, and I have an opposing opinion. And so neither one of us are going to debate or get into a fight or an argument. We're simply going to state our case, and then we'd be interested in hearing what you think about this topic. All right, so in just a second now, you're going to see me and Michael discussing the benefits or the negative effects of being with a single mom. All righty, boys and girls, just like I said in the little introduction there, I am here today with my friend Mike, and we're going to have not necessarily a debate or an argument. Last time we got together, we had a little debate about Social Security and Medicare. Should we keep it? Should we not? He has one position on it. I have another on those topics. And on this topic, I have a position and he has a position, and they tend to differ. So we're just going to have a friendly little, I wouldn't call it a debate, more of a discussion.
Discussion, the pros, the cons, the good, the bad, the ugly.
About single moms.
Single moms.
I've never addressed this on my channel before.
No, it's a touchy subject, because all our relationships are based on the girl, not so much her family. But if you enjoy the company of a certain girl and she ends up being a single mom, how are you going to address that? Does it scare you? Is it going to make you run away? Some guys run for the hills. They just leave the island. And in my case, having a ready-made family that you get with a single mom was no issue.
Okay.
It worked out for me.
Was that something that when you came over and you were looking to get into a relationship, did you have a preference? I mean, would you have said, boy, if I could meet somebody without a kid, that would be better, but I'm open-minded to meeting somebody with a kid? Or where was your head at as far as that whole topic?
My head was the girls that didn't have children were very young. They were 21, 22, still accessible, attractive, and enjoyment to be with. They seemed all to have children. It just, single moms here in the Philippines is a very large percentage of the population.
Okay.
And it was just easier for me to reach out and date and have weekend relationships or even longer relationships, and they had kids.
Okay.
And normally the kids didn't come along on the dating. That was something you would find out more about if it got serious.
Okay.
I don't believe the first thing you ask a girl when you go into a bar or you go in a restaurant and you meet somebody is, do you have kids? I don't think that's the first thing. First thing is a physical attraction. You sit down and you talk, and then if it gets interesting, you might bring it up.
Okay.
But, yeah.
So did you ever date anybody that was childless?
Yes, I did. My first girlfriend here was childless. She was 21, too young, still going to college, and it just didn't work out in the long run. If she was older, because she was a very nice girl, she was mature for her age, but she wanted children. So this aspect, I believe most women in the Philippines, not all, but most women either have children or they want children.
Okay. I wouldn't disagree with you on that. And so now you're married to Janet, and you guys have her child.
We have PJ here. It's our son. I take full responsibility for the upkeep and care of any child, and he's a teenage boy. He's 12. He's going to be 13. There's a lot of good and bad with that. But,
okay. I'm curious about, what do you find positive?
Positive. It keeps me grounded. And it keeps Janet's a very family-oriented woman, and I don't think she would be that strong of a family-oriented if she didn't have children. I think if she was a single woman, chances are she'd probably be working overseas or who knows. But because her family is very committed to the family, I found that's what I was looking for. I needed somebody who was committed to a relationship had the values for a good relationship, a traditional style. That's a word I can use. Traditional style relationship with good qualities, and I find that in single moms. I don't find them to be hanging out at the bars. I don't find them hanging out where they shouldn't be. I wasn't a bar guy, I didn't.
Right.
When I was in Angeles City, I did not go into any of the bars in Angeles City. It's just something that doesn't strike me. Or in when I was in Alona Beach. But the reason I'm with Janet is because of Janet, not because that she had a child or not.
Right. So did you find out on your first meeting with Janet that
No.
she had a child, or
No, once we started talking a little bit more serious, first, I think it was like, and here things go quick. It was like 4 days in that I found out.
Okay.
I didn't find out right away.
Right. Okay, because I'm just replaying the movie in my head. In America, if I was in my 40s or 50s, I think I tried dating 2 different women sporadically, 1 year apart. That's all I could take. But the first thing they would talk about is their kids.
Yes.
But they were older women. They were in their 50s also. They
And
were
their children were grown.
age-appropriate
Yeah, and
stuff.
their children were probably
And
grown
so
or
they
late.
They would always ask, do you have kids? Oh, yes, I do. Oh, what about you? Yes, I do. But out here you find that it's not...
I don't think the girl wants to have that come up as a deal breaker right off the bat.
Okay.
They're really protective, and sometimes you can say they're lying about it or hiding the fact that they have children because they haven't established a strong relationship with you, and if they're really interested in you, they're not going to be throwing out negative things where you might run. They want to build some sort of friendship or relationship, and I've seen that many times where the girl doesn't tell the guy she's dating that she has children until they're really almost committed to each other.
I have a problem with that.
It is.
And
I don't think they should wear an A on their forehead,
No.
but I think it's up to the man to ask that question. And if you don't ask the question, if they lie about it, I think that's a big negative.
big time.
But if you
Big
don't
time.
ask,
Big time.
don't ask, don't tell.
Right. I would also respectfully disagree with you about the bar girls not having kids. I think there's a lot of women that work at the bars that have kids because that's the easiest means of support for them.
Yes.
And they tend to work the foreigner deal, and they get tips, and they might be a little more lascivious, whatnot.
I think
I can't lump everybody into one basket. I don't think that a woman having a child diminishes her at all, but where I have a problem with it is that I kind of in my heart of hearts know when I was a single dad, and I was for many years, my kids were my priority and anybody else came second. Now, do you feel that in your relationship with Janet? I mean, if she had to choose, a bullet's coming your way and it's going to either hit you or it's going to hit PJ.
she's going to protect PJ. I'm not foolish enough to think any different. But she knows the balance where she can tell PJ, you're over here today, and I'm taking care of Mike. She understands the priorities. I want to step back about the bar girl.
Go ahead.
I wasn't meaning the girls that work in the bar. When you're in Dumaguete here and you got the karaoke bar going and that, the single moms don't seem to be hanging out there. It's more
I see, hanging out.
College
Okay,
students
yeah,
hanging out and that.
yeah.
But it's a great point on the bar girls. Yeah, because a single mom has to earn a living.
Right.
And it's limited because they usually give up their education to have a child young. If they're pregnant in high school or even the first year, the parents usually, you have to take care of your kid. So the parents aren't going to pay for university. It's going to go to the other son or the other daughter who doesn't have children. So, yeah, there are limitations on how to make money. And that's what Janet had to do. Two of her sisters went to university. I don't know all the details, guys, but two went to university. When it was her time to go, the family didn't have enough money. So she bypassed that. And because she had a child. So she went to work. And what kind of job do girls get? A lot of them are domestic, housemaids, they work in restaurants. And the income's not that high.
So do you ever feel like you get restricted by having PJ around? Like, does it infringe on your freedom at all?
Sometimes.
I don't want to get
Yeah.
too personal.
No,
If I
there's
ask
no
too personal, tell me to
yeah,
shut
I will.
up, because I
But
don't want to.
it's school. It's the school, and it's not the child's fault. You'll make plans for Thursday. You're gonna say, okay, Thursday I'm going to meet Paul for lunch. I'm going to meet this couple that came in at 1 o'clock, and then we're back at 4 to pick PJ up. Well, at 8 o'clock in the morning, you're getting a text. Oh, we only half day today.
Right.
It's only a half day school today, so you have to make arrangements. Either Janet stays home or her sister picks them up. Yeah, those kind of inconveniences, because the child comes first. You can't let him be stranded at school and you get him home. But he's a little bit more mature than a lot of children, being that he's 12. He can stay in the house for a few hours by himself. We can take him where we're blessed at is her family is close by.
Uh-huh.
And we can drop them off at the family house for 4 or 5 hours. We can drop them off for a weekend there. Or they'll come stay here if we go up to Cebu for a week. So it's not a hindrance because you have them, but the problems come in. It's a financial strain, guys. And you're going to pick up on the clothing they need, schooling. And what are you going to do if you're in a committed relationship and you have a young man you're trying to raise as a man? You have to get them educated. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the public schools don't work great, so you go private. So now you have the private school fees. So there's an added financial burden.
Okay.
Comes with anybody. If you marry a woman in the U.S. or in Canada, wherever you're at, and they have children, there's an added burden financially.
Yep.
And burden's not really the right word. It's an added expense. It's not really a burden.
Responsibility.
Yeah.
In your situation, again, you can tell me to shut up, but is the father still involved?
No.
Okay.
No, the father took off right away. He was around at the birth. He was around for infancy, but he didn't want to put his name on the birth certificate. And
Oh,
then,
really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And after a few, I don't know the exact time frame, but there's a point where he said, "That's not my child,"
Okay.
and left.
Okay.
And
Never to be seen again.
never
I
to be
imagine.
seen again.
Okay, that's kind of a good thing. Now, do you feel compromised knowing that you're not his birth father? Does he hold you in the same regard as if you were? Have you had any kind of? Do you have to? I don't know. It's when it's not your kid.
Yes,
and
the
it's really
discipline end of
Janet's
it.
kid.
Yeah.
So yeah, the discipline, and you do this, and make sure your homework's done. And I've heard that kids will say, "You're not my dad. You can't tell me what to do." That's on the extreme.
Yeah, but
and it depends on the demeanor of the child,
Right.
of course.
And
but do you feel any inadequacies or uneasiness about that?
At times, I don't believe he listens to me.
Okay.
He'll just thumbs up and then just go about his business. The discipline card is very tough, guys. If he's doing something wrong, school is bad, does something terrible in the house, you can't raise a hand.
No.
You can't raise a hand. You can't even start yelling a lot because, one, they're really not going to understand you. Filipinos don't like the yelling.
No.
So I have a method for discipline that works. I send him to his grandmother's house, and she has a big stick, and I tell her that he's been bad, and she chases him around. And I just sit there and enjoy it.
You just fade off the beatings.
Like the king, the king of Egypt. I sentenced you to death, but I'm not going to kill you. My big guy here is going to do it. No, but you have to be careful with that. And there's a lot of times the misunderstanding. The language barrier and our humor, our sarcasm. And, sometimes, and you notice this all through the Philippines, you'll talk to somebody and they'll nod like they completely understand you.
Yeah.
But in the back of their head, they're saying, what the hell is he saying?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. And then you expect whatever you told him to do to be accomplished,
Right.
but he never understood what you're saying to begin with. So
That happens about 42 times a day with my own wife.
yeah, it happens all the time.
You just say yes, just to shut me up. Make me happy, and you have no clue what I asked.
I caught Janet this morning. I asked Janet a question, and I said, "Do you hear me?" And she goes, "Yes." I go, "What did I ask you?" "You asked me if I heard you." I go, "I'm asking you if you heard what I said before that." No. So you could walk away thinking everybody understands everything, but they don't.
No.
That's a lot of fun.
All right, so we're getting off track, of course. We're supposed to be talking about single moms and
That's all
pluses
in,
and
it's,
minuses.
It's all in there. It's a lot of great times. I get a lot of pride in his school grades because I've taken him from public school where he was doing terrible into a private school, and his grades are better. When he gets his report card, he's proud to show it to me, and he hides it if it's bad, just like we did when we were kids. So I get a lot of satisfaction out of that. I work on a reward, not a reward discipline. If grades are good, his only job is school.
Okay.
He has to do good in school. That's his only job. If school is good, there's rewards at birthday and Christmas. If you do bad in school, there's no reward. You don't get a new toy or money or whatever the gift could be.
All right. Well, I'm going to go on my side of the opinion.
Would you date
Which
a single mom?
would I date a single mom?
Yeah.
But what we're going to do is we're going to pause right here for a commercial break. 1 second.
First day without the glasses.
Sound check.
Hey, Janet, come here and take the
take your towel off.
Yeah.
We need a thumbnail. Well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as we did.
You did?
Anyway, I have...
Where's mom with the stick?
Where's mom with the stick is right. I have a more selfish take on the whole thing. And I have my little do's and don'ts. And I was, well, again, we differ so much in different ways. When I moved over here, it was more of an economy thing. Money, save money, live small, minimalist and all that. And then the girls and the women came later. And I, too, like you, dated a number of women that were younger. But guess what? They already had kids. And I would meet the kids, and they were little kids. I mean, like 2 years old, 3 years old,
Still sleeping with mama.
And I would meet them after the third or fourth date. They'd say, would you like to meet my kids? I'd say, yeah, sure, why not? And go over there, and I would walk away and I'd say, I can't do this. And I would have to be honest with the girls, or the women, I should say. It was like, this is not my thing. I went through 18 years minimum, more actually, raising 3 boys, 3 different stages. And I'm burnt out on it. I'm tired of it. It's my turn. I just don't want to have, especially a little kid racing around the house.
Yeah.
I dated a 38-year-old woman. I've had 2 girlfriends. I've had May, and I've had this other woman. I won't use her name. And her and I were together for about 3 or 4 months. She was 38 years old. She had 2 grown kids. They were in their 20s. She started early. And when I met her, she had the kids. The kids were way down in Mindanao, and she was up here with me. And I asked her about it, and she said, well, they're on their own. They're good. They're just finishing up their last year of college. And I thought, yeah, no harm, no foul. Cool. She's got grown kids. That's not going to be in our lives. It's no big deal. And I was wrong. And she started asking for money for the kids. They needed this. They needed that. And then she wanted to bring the kids up to meet me. And I met the kids. And then they started, it was just a money drain.
Yeah.
And I felt like I'm getting put together, which I was. And I just cut it. And I said, no way. Really, it wasn't because of the kids. It's because of her. And I could see that her game was to game me.
Using the
using me, using the kids. She thought I was one of these millionaires from America, which I wasn't. And she didn't understand the word budget. So the kids played a small factor in it. But for me, I like the idea that there's total freedom and I'm not responsible for anybody ever again, other than my wife. And I had high maintenance kids when I was a father. There were drug issues. There was juvenile courts, and I get
a
those
big
calls
emotional
from the police
drain.
department, hey, your son's over here. You tried to steal something from the Walmart or whatever. And I have to do all that. So it was really kind of a painful kind of experience. I love my children. We had great times. I don't mean to paint this terrible picture. I mean, I didn't raise a bunch of, Charles Mansons or anything.
No, but
they were just high maintenance boys that were into pushing the envelope. And they pushed my envelope. And I used to hurt the problem more than help it because I would enable them. I always thought that getting them out of trouble, I'd be the hero, they'd appreciate that, and it turned out that was the absolutely worst thing that I could have done. I should have let them just go sit in the
jail
cell
for a while. Yeah, at least a week.
Couple days, or whatever.
Scared straight type stuff.
Scared straight, yeah. So anyway, that's been one of my things. When I met May, she said, I said, do you have any kids? We got to talking. She said, no. And she was 32 or 33 when I met her. She's now 39, pushing 40. And
you can trade her in.
she said, yeah, for two 20-year-olds.
Yeah, you got to wait a year. You know what kind of looks I get when I say that to Janet? I can trade her in for two 16-and-a-half-year-olds.
Yeah, when you're 40, I'm going to trade you in for two 20-year-olds. Yeah. I'm watching the clock. But she said, I want to have a baby. And I said, well, you and me got a problem. And I was totally honest with her. I said, I don't want to have a child. And she said, well, okay, up to God. And I said, fair enough, up to God. And we haven't gotten pregnant. And we've been together for 6 years, something like that. And so we have a normal physical relationship. And maybe it's me, maybe it's her. I don't know, but it can't happen.
Or God has decided.
And God has decided
no.
Paul wins this one.
Yeah.
So if I was coming over, again, if I was going to start all over again tomorrow, I would still have the same philosophy. Having observed enough people with kids that they inherit. Now, there have been guys like you and other guys that have really embraced the whole stepdad role. In fact, my friend Roy once made a statement to me that I never forgot. He said, you know what, Paul? He says, I got two people to love me for the price of one. And I thought
that's a great way to look at it.
Very, very deep, cool thing to say. He says, this little boy, another little boy, he says, he loves me with all of his heart, thinks of me as dad. His mom, same thing. He says, so I'm getting a 2 for 1, and I love it. Another gentleman that I know is in a relationship with a young lady with a child, and he is super happy because God love him. His son committed suicide.
Yeah.
And that is brutal.
Yes.
And he's like, man, this is my second chance. I miss my son so much. I missed being a dad. I missed having those moments of, victories of graduation and first dates and proms and all that kind of stuff.
All the good stuff.
He said, my kid got involved with the fentanyl and at the age of like 12 or 13.
Right.
And that was that, OD'd or something. So there is something that I really admire. And I admire all the guys that take on that additional responsibility. They man up, but they're doing it of free will. And so for me, I'm too selfish. That's just the bottom line. I want my time to be my time. Hell, my dogs annoy me.
You don't like Sharon Maywood ta-da. Yeah, oh my God.
Crayons on the wall. I just lose my mind. And so that's kind of my take on it. There's a number of red flags that I look at with women. I would also worry about him or her accepting me. I would worry about my health. I'm 70 years old. A couple of days. It's my birthday. I'll be 70. And, what kind of dad can I be to, especially a small child?
The small ones are the question.
Part. Yeah.
And I don't know, talk about if you hook up with a woman with a small child. If she's living with you with the child, that child's sleeping with you. That child doesn't leave the bed.
I do know a couple that recently broke up. And I asked him, I said, what was the deal? And he said, well, to be honest with you, we were sleeping in different bedrooms.
Yeah.
The kid, even though the kid was a little older, I think 7 or 8 or something like that was the routine. And so he lost out to the kid.
Yes.
And I think the mother was at fault there. I think the mother should have put her foot down and said, no, you're old enough now to sleep by yourself.
Right.
Been a little more respectful of his desires.
We had that
needs.
when Janet and I moved in together. The PJ was 10, and they lived in their parents' house, but they had one room for them, one bed for them. They slept in the same bed together, and that's what her mother did. She slept with her child. When Janet moved in with me, we gave PJ his own room, and I'm thinking, oh, this is great for a kid. He's going to have his own room. He's got his own desk, his own bed. No, he misses his mom, and Janet would have to go in with him. Some nights at first she would spend the whole night, and it grew into where she would be there until he fell asleep and then come back to our room. But yes, that sleeping arrangements for young children, if they're 3, 4, 5, they're going to be with you.
Yeah.
They're going to be sleeping in between you.
Yeah.
If you're lucky and you have a good family, sometimes couples live like in Behold or somewhere, and the family lives here in Dumaguete. The child stays with the grandparents and is raised by the grandparent and the cousins and the other siblings.
How do you
It's
feel
a family.
about that?
I think that's a great option.
I don't like it.
Yeah, but I think,
the mother should be the mother. And
for every
and we're
woman,
just,
yeah, but
back and forth here.
one of the big exports of the Philippines is overseas foreign workers.
Yeah.
And the vast majority are women. And the vast majority are women with children. The children stay. The compound that I'm familiar with has many kids there every day. And some of her brothers work in Manila. Some of the women work, somewhere else.
Sure.
They maybe they're going to university or they're working downtown. Their grandparents take care of the kids. They're always on the compound. And the cousins just love the cousins. That's their best friends.
If it wasn't for economics, do you think the mother would choose that?
No.
Okay.
No. The mother would rather have the child, but the
In the
best
compound with the cousins, with the grandmas and everything
protected. Here it's a village to raise a child. It's the family.
Yeah.
The family unit here gets big. You know that when you go out with May.
Yeah.
How many cousins? Who was that?
everybody's
Oh, that's my
related to my
cousin to
wife.
somebody. Yeah. I remember first dating Janet, riding on the motorbike down the National Highway 4 different times. We got helmets on. 4 different times, some girl is waving. And I go, who is that? Oh, that's a cousin. Or that's a classmate. These women, they remember, and they got so many cousins. Guys tell me, oh, I'm dating Janet's cousin. Which one? No, there's just so many. But the family unit and the compound, that is one option. My friend up in Ayala Mall area, he's with a beautiful girl, and she has an older daughter, but the daughter lives with the family because that's where the school is too. That's where she goes to school. The university is down the street. So it's just a common practice here. But a young child, I'm going to say under 10, chances are going to be sleeping with you. That's the hard one.
So I don't know what you guys think. I guess we'll wind this up. But I'm kind of not anti-child, but one of my rules, I guess, is that I did not want to get involved with a blended family. I didn't want to be in that situation because the father could come back, I guess. I don't know.
You never know.
The kids, like Michael said, there's additional expenses. If you got deep pockets, that's no big deal. And you do get the gratification. There's a lot of pluses. It's just me, and I have to say the word for the 15th time. I'm selfish. It's my time. It's my turn. I want to eat when I want to eat. I want to get up when I want to go. I want to sit down when I want to sit down. And I just don't want the additional responsibility.
Like to get up and go when you want to go.
8 o'clock to take this kid to school. I know there would be resentment in my heart and mind at some point in time because it would just block everything I've been working for.
Yeah, you couldn't do nothing
Kick
until
back,
after the 8
relax,
o'clock hour.
Be retired. If I feel like going out today, cool. If I don't, I'll just stay home and chill out. And you can't do that with other people around you. Fortunately, May is not high maintenance at all. I mean, she can just sit around in the bed and leave me alone. That's if I am alone.
Your
She can
dogs,
just go in there
your
and hang
dogs
out.
are expensive.
The dogs, yeah. The dogs are low maintenance, though.
But no,
Anyway,
as just a quick sidebar to
Yeah.
that, it's your lifestyle, guys. You know, don't do it. Don't have a kid involved if you think it's going to be a negative at some point, because
Right.
then that's the worst case scenario.
that is. I mean,
You
if
know-
you go into it saying, okay, well, I don't really feel comfortable with this, but she's so pretty, or all this and that and the other, and then you get in and you're gonna,
You're going to regret, even if the child's raised by the grandparents. There might be a time when she says, "Oh, we're doing so well. Let's have my daughter come live with us." And
Yes.
and if you don't want that, now you're in a breakup situation. Can get ugly, and it's hard enough to break up when you just don't like each other.
Yeah.
If you're blaming a third party, it's a lifestyle thing. A lot of guys think it's a little simpy, taking care of somebody else's child. But when you get married in the U.S. to an older woman, chances are she already has children.
right.
So,
It's not
just a different dynamic here.
totally, and the kids are much more independent. And
They are.
So is the woman, and it's a whole different game than over here. So anyway, that's my spin on it. I don't know. You guys agree, disagree? Somewhere in
Thumbs
between?
up, thumbs down,
Yeah, whatever you
hit
wanna
the like
do.
button.
We're used to it. All right, kids. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks, Mikey.
You're welcome.